Hey church, great to be with you again today as we share devotions together. We're looking at Proverbs chapter 27 and I love it what it says in verse 17. It says, as iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. You know, King Solomon here is dealing with the relationships that we have in our life. You know, the relationships that we have in our life can either sharpen us, can either build us up, or it can tear us down or make us blunt. You know, I love what it says right at the beginning of that chapter. In verse 1, it says, don't brag about tomorrow, since you don't know what today will bring. Let someone else praise you, not your own mouth, a stranger, not your own lips. You know, I love that idea because too often we think that we need to boast and brag about ourselves. You know, you don't have to look too far in social media on Instagram or Facebook and posts upon posts are filled with people feeling the need to praise themselves, to boast. This whole rise in a narcissistic society says we need to get our own. We need to, try and receive some sort of praise. We need to let people know what we're doing and, the whole selfie pictures. And, this right here says don't praise yourself. Don't boast of yourself. If it's good enough for someone to praise, then wait for someone else to boast about the things that you're doing. I love that thought, and it goes on and it says, this whole idea of why we boast, why we do what we do. It says anger is cruel and the wrath is like a flood, but jealousy is even more dangerous. I wonder why we boast, why we try to do these things. I think it comes from a place of jealousy. I think it comes from a place of insecurity. It comes from a place of comparison. I wonder if we stopped comparing ourselves to other people. Maybe stop comparing your post to the next person's post. Stop comparing ourselves to the things that we believe other people are doing that's bringing them joy and fulfillment. But I love, and this is where I want to land today, what it says in verse 5 and verse 6 of this chapter. It says, an open rebuke is better than hidden love. Wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses from an enemy. What this is saying today is that, some people believe that, step out and actually speak to people, maybe even rebuke someone, is going to be a thing that actually breaks our relationship. But here, King Solomon's actually saying an open rebuke is better than hidden love. And it says the wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses from an enemy. I wonder whether you've actually received wounds from a sincere friend. Have you ever put yourself in a position where someone has spoken into your life? Maybe you've surrounded yourself with people that only tell you what you want to hear. Maybe it's because you've been defensive. Maybe it's because at times when people have come to you to try and encourage you, to give you advice, that you've reacted and responded in a way that's probably pushed them away. I wonder whether today you would actually take on this advice and actually be someone who would be willing to get wounded by a sincere friend. Being wounded by a sincere friend is the sort of thing that happens when someone actually comes to you and says, hey, Mark, I noticed that you said something, that you did something, that you posted something, and can I speak to you about that today? And I don't know if you've been in that position, but maybe it might hurt when they start to speak about it. Maybe you might even get a little defensive and think they're out of line, they're wrong, that they don't know my motivations, they can't judge me. But when you think about it, when you open yourself up, you realize that they're actually right. And they're actually being a loyal friend, a loving friend. They're being bold enough, caring enough, strong enough that they would actually speak into your life and help bring correction, help bring you back onto the path that God has for your life. I love the fact that, it lands on this verse and it says the heartfelt counsel in verse 9. The heartfelt counsel of a friend is as sweet as perfume and incense. When you open yourself up to that sort of feedback from a friend, when you do relationships on a level that says, I'm allowing you to speak into my life and I'm going to allow myself to be bold enough, to be courageous enough to speak into your life, then I believe it's the sort of relationships that wake you up when you're sleeping. It pulls you up when you're starting to slip in your life, and it helps you turn around when you're veering off course. That's the sort of friendships, that's the sort of relationships that I believe that God wants us to have in our life. I wonder what sort of relationships that you've invited into your life today. I wonder what sort of a friend you're being today. Would you be bold enough and loving and caring enough to maybe even deliver some wounds from a sincere friend in a respectful and a loving way, to share some things that might bring someone back to the path and the plan that God has for their life. God bless you today as you consider your relationships, as you consider what sort of a friend you are today. Have a great day.